Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace dropping in on you. Hope everybody is off to a good start to their week into their day here on Tuesday, November 16th. Look, I'm going to uh, do the best I can to get through this segment as smoothly and efficiently and quickly as possible. I want to, first of all, remind you that we are in the middle of a fundraiser for the work we're doing at the Odyssey Project. To learn more about that, you can email me directly at CEO at the Odyssey Project 21.top, or you can go directly to the description box and read the ways that you can support the work we're doing. We're also having a push for laptop computers and desktop computers for our programs. And stay tuned for the way that you can donate those particular items. It will be in the description box after the video has actually posted. Uh, look, this video is somewhat of a somber occasion, something that I've talked about and I have harped on for some time. Marion and I have collectively pushed for awareness in this area. It is a part of something that's deep for me, and that is the s- increasingly intense spike in suicides among minor children in the Black community. For those who aren't aware, we are now leading in a statistical category associated with suicide, and that is the ages of 5 to 11, the ages from 5 to 11. We now are leading that statistical category. And a lot of it is associated with bullying in school and online. And it is our responsibility to cover and protect our children at whatever cost. And there's a number of different ways that that can be done. I'll talk about that later, but I want to first remember the latest victim of this trend, Isabella Izzy Tichenor, a 9-year-old uh, young Black autistic sweetie who lived in a subdivision right outside of Salt Lake City, Utah, where she was targeted over and over again at her school in the Davis School District. Now, what's interesting about this situation is the fact that the Davis School District has been under investigation by the Department of Justice since 2029, and that investigation ended a month ago. So, a month before she uh, took her life, the investigation ended and it found a lot of horrible truths about the failure of this school district to look after its non-white students, Black and Asian in particular, and that the school district had to reach basically a somewhat of a what you would call a plea deal with the Department of Justice or some changes that it was going to make. When it comes to Izzy's specific uh, case, her parents say they found out about her being bullied roughly a month before her death. So basically, right around the time the Department of Justice was wrapping up its investigation of the school district, Izzy's parents found out that she was being bullied. They first took it to a teacher and they felt like they weren't getting any traction with that. So they escalated and took it to a principal who redirected them to a vice principal where they say they felt like they simply were not getting um, the attention they felt they needed. They weren't getting the results they felt they needed. They felt like they were basically being ignored. Now, the school has literally gone on record at one point when the investigation first started and said that their Black students and Asian students and their families needed to not be so sensitive. They didn't take it serious. They didn't take any measures to protect the children. And so it leads me to my point and what I really want to talk about. And again, I'm not going to be long. I'm almost done. But it's our responsibility to protect our children. Marion and I have talked over and over again about the importance of monitoring screen time for our children, the importance of being aware of what they are engaging in on their devices, and be aware and alert to what's happening with them at school. You know, our children are that are actually in school are in high school, so these aren't little kids who you want to keep an eye on every day. But we are very active in their lives. We're very aware of what they're dealing with at school, and we're very engaged in things that we feel might be questionable. And that's what you have to do. You are going to have to be aware. In an ideal situation, we would be educating all of our children. All of our children have gone through a point of homeschooling at some point. Well, the younger children, um, some are still engaged, but the idea, the desire to want to get out and be amongst peers and everything like that, I think is an important part of socialization. And that's my primary reasoning for it, because I try to educate my kids holistically through engagement. But at the core of this is the fact that we have to be aware of the dangers of what's happening. We literally are leading in a statistical category that no one wants to be a part of. And it's our babies. It is the younger of our generations. We are literally trusting systems that have never served us well to literally be responsible for the well-being of our children. I understand, you know, a large part of our population needs, even when there are two parents in the home, needs both parents at work. And then that leaves you to say, okay, well, I'm going to have to send my kids to school, or for whatever reason your children are enrolled in schools. That does not excuse us from being actively engaged in understanding what they're dealing with, what they're going through. Are they, first of all, being treated right by adults? Number two, are those adults that are responsible for their well-being making sure that they aren't being harassed and bullied by their peers? Um, and when a problem arises, are the administrations and those responsible being attentive and responsive? And if not, do what you have to do, all the way up to pulling your child out of that school, all the way up to taking that child's device so that they can't see what their peers are saying about them on all these little apps that are out there that are a distraction and a danger to your children anyway. Far too much of our children's identity is being sculptured and developed around what is being placed and seen on social media, instead of them developing healthy social relationships, personable relationships, and so forth. It is our responsibility, and this is by no way me taking aim at Izzy's parents. I think they did what they were supposed to. They went in, they followed through. I don't think anybody is really truly aware, you know, or thinking that their 9-year-old is going to take their life. And especially, us older, depending on the environment you come from, we got bullied. Everybody got bullied at some point in time growing up. When I was growing up, and I don't remember anybody committing suicide, but things have changed. The way our children are developed and brought up has changed. We had tougher exteriors. We expected somebody to say something about us. We took jabs, it was a part of it. And so we were a little different, but still bullying wasn't easy. Especially physical bullying, but now it's not even the physical bullying. From what I understand, the N word was used consistently in addressing her. They talked about her and called her ugly and other little things. Cute little beautiful girl. And but the thing is, you've been a child. We invest a lot in the assessments of our peers. Hell, there's a bunch of adults out there that still are heavily invested in what other people think about them. So, can you imagine a 9-year-old trying to make sense out of the fact that everybody is maligning her and being mean to her and talking about her? And then you have to take into consideration the other challenges that's associated with her autism. And yet, she was not protected at school. So, I iterate once again, it's our responsibility to protect our babies all the way up to pulling them out of school, all the way up to doing whatever it takes so that they know they're safe, so that they know they're loved, so that they know that nothing's going to harm them. They can't be entrusted to a people that is consistently showing them they don't care. They can't feel safe in a space where the adults don't see a need to protect them. The idea of having to wake up every day and go to school and know you're going into hostility and nobody's going to have your back while you're there. That literally there's nobody you can go to while you're in that environment and say, this is happening to me. I need you to do something about it. And somebody actually takes action. Can you imagine being 9 years old and walking off into that? We really and truly have got to see the value in our kids. We can talk about the children being the future all we want to. We can talk about all the other things we love to say about kids and how much we love them and all that. But our actions are going to have to be in direct alignment uh, with what we say. We've got to learn how to make our actions speak louder than our words. If our kids are really that important to us, why aren't we protecting them? Again, this isn't an attack, an individualized attack on the Tichenors. They fought the best they knew how in a situation that obviously was more uh, was bigger than their own issue. This school has a history. This school was so bad that the Department of Justice was investigating them and found that there were some horrible things wrong that needed to be corrected. That at the time the school district saw no need to address. It is only when the Department of Justice applied pressure that the school district acknowledged that there were some problems. By this time, this baby is under intense hardships within the classroom. So again, in order for us to be able to say that our children are valuable, our children's lives are valuable, that our children are precious, that our children represent our future, our children are the potential of our true liberation, then we've got to be more actively engaged in protecting them. It should be alarming that we lead in the statistical category of suicide in ages 5 to 11. It should be alarming that there is a massive spike in male teenage suicide, Black male teenage suicide. It should be alarming that we're seeing an increase and rise in Black male suicides of men in their mid to late 20s. We need to really truly be aware of what's going on around us, and we need to be more involved in dealing with solutions. Sitting up and telling a kid to toughen up isn't going to be what they need. Telling a kid to word sticks and stones don't break, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words, no, words are lethal. Words have power. Words are seeds that are planted. And when those seeds are planted, they produce thoughts, and those thoughts take root, and those thoughts become perpetual cognitions that children are embodying and taking into their mind. And when it starts to not be something that they can deal with, they will find the easiest way to alleviate the pain. And you've got to understand that at 9 years old, there's no way that child understands the finality of what she did. There's no way that she could process the pain she left behind. She was just trying to escape pain, but it was for her to have some people in her corner. And her parents should have had other people that they could call and check into. That should have been someone they could call and say, hey, look, we've done this, and this. We're not getting anything. We need somebody to help our baby. There's got to be a way that we respond. We can't leave our children exposed and vulnerable the way that we're doing. It's absolutely imperative that we get this. We can talk all day long about Black power. We could talk all day long about politics and Black group economics and in history and Kemet and all these things we love to bask in to make ourselves feel better about the crap that we deal with on a daily basis. It means absolutely nothing if we don't develop and build a generation and provide the protection they need to grow into themselves that's capable. We've got to build a generation that we've inculcated the right principles into, that we've inculcated the right identity into, that we've inculcated the level of self-esteem and self-awareness that they can't be shaken, that they know who they are. And then we provide the insulation and protection for them to grow into the fullness of who they are before they are exposed to it. They are exposed to racial aggression at far too early of an age to be able to process it, to be able to defend themselves, to be able to sit up and come into themselves. They are constantly bombarded with images of a Eurocentric idea of what's beautiful, a Eurocentric idea of what's professional, a Eurocentric idea of what's classy, everything that is diametrically opposed to who they are inherently. And then they're expected to navigate that. We have got to do a better job of protecting our babies. To the family and loved ones of this beautiful young baby, our hearts and our prayers go out to you. If there's anything that we can do here at the Odyssey Project or Rick Wallace Enterprises for that matter, to make your situation just a little bit easier, please reach out to us. You can reach me directly at CEO at the Odyssey Project 21.top. And to Isabella, Izzy, Tichenor, rest easy, little princess. Now, to the rest of us, we have work to do. We have work to do. On that note, I'm out of here. Thanks for dropping in. You guys, let's get busy.